Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw & Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw & Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. We change lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. Shaw & Associates is a wealth management investment firm that specializes in taxes, serving as a fiduciary, putting your interests first. You can find more information or schedule an appointment by calling 530-674-1150 or on the web at shawassociatesinc.com. Shaw & Associates is proud to support community radio.
We're grateful for Mr. Shaw's support. If you'd like to support community radio, it's easy. Just go to 93qradio.com, hit that donate button, and it's good for everybody. Well, my guest for 9 o'clock is Keith Burwell.
Correct.
I got it right?
Yep.
Yeah, not bad. And Keith has Precision One Concepts, and you do all kinds of stuff.
Apparel and science primarily. But
Yeah.
We're celebrating our 25-year anniversary this year. So
Wow, you don't look that old.
I don't feel that old, actually.
So, Keith, did you grow up here?
I was born and raised here.
Wow. All right, so I'm going to take a guess here. Honker.
No.
Oh, Indian.
Nope.
What? Husky.
Nope.
What? Pirate.
No.
Wait a minute. What's Blazer?
A blazer.
All right.
Class of 83.
You know, I just recently had them on. I got to have them back because something happened with the sound. Thank you, Facebook. But what a great school. We get interns from there. What a phenomenal school. It's like a secret.
Yeah.
Right? People don't realize what's over there. I tell people, go over there, get permission, and walk out on campus. And when you get on that campus, you'll see the relationship between the teachers and students, and it's amazing. That's an amazing school. So
Yeah, I have a core group of friends from high school. We're still good friends to this day. We haven't got together in a while like we usually do, but just kind of life. But yeah, it's my alma mater, you know, and when, you know, they're going, oh, well, we're going to come use you, you know, and then sometimes they don't or whatever. And then, you know, it's okay. I'm okay with that. But I just I'm going to treat you really well because you're my school.
Yeah. Well, Mimi was a student there, then she was a teacher. Now she's a principal.
Yeah.
And they have about 20% of their staff is people that went there. I just think that's amazing to me.
Well, Fran, who recently retired from there, she graduated with me and stuff like that.
Wow.
You know, but she was like the ASB person. And so when I was like going, hey, I need to get this invoice paid, she jumped on it for me and it was good. But the lady that took over for her is just as good. So
she doesn't know you yet, right? She's like, who's this guy?
No,
right?
she's kind of actually, she goes, I'm the new Fran. That's what she tells me. And I'm just like, so that's kind of.
So you've been in business for 25 years, doing T-shirts, hats, all kinds of stuff. How did you get in that business?
So,
what was it that, I mean, you know, it's like, to just one day say, I want to do T-shirts. I mean, how do you do this?
So I'll jump clear back to like the early, like 90, I think 91, 92, right in there. And I was a truck driver. And anyway, I had a disagreement with my dispatcher back in the day and stuff like that. And I came home and told my wife, I got to find something else to do. My cousin was a screen printer in the Midwest in Oklahoma. So we loaded my son, who was like a year old at the time, whatever, and we drove back, and my cousin taught me how to screen print. And I came back, lived in East Marysville, started the business, joined Marysville Kiwanis. You know, John Cassidy was at, which it's Chase now, but back then it was Great Western Bank. And he introduced me to a bunch of people. My sister worked for him at the bank at the time, and I kind of got, and we had Yellow Page ads right back then. I started my business like in June, so I was out hustling, getting all this work. My first job that came through was from the Yellow Page ad, and this was like $8,000 order. That was a whole lot of money back then, and I thought my Yellow Page ad is gonna pay for, you know. And I did not know how to run a business back then. I was young and stupid and stuff. But I
joined the club.
So basically, about a year and a half, that business, I closed the business down because of just, you know, my wife and I were fighting. We'd maxed out credit card. It was terrible, and we both actually went back to school. And then she started working at Rideout. And I started working as a contractor for the phone company for Pacific Bell. And then my job became a permanent job, and I thought I'm going to retire from the phone company. So I was done printing, you know, I thought. And then in 2000, I had a lot of people that kept going, hey, can you get me a banner made? Can you get some shirts made? Because you know how to do all this. And I was getting shirts made for my department at the phone company, you know, here locally with another business here locally. And I was just like, and then it was just like, okay, maybe I'll get a plotter and I'll start making some signs. And I did that, and I was kind of doing it. And I pretty much started the business in January of 2001, and it was Trick Concepts at the time. That was, you know, and it was just a sign business. And I had a piece of plywood on our front room floor because our garage was full with cars, and I was making banners. And one day I come home and my wife goes, you need to turn business away, because I'd go work all day and then come home and do banners. She goes, you need to turn business away or find a shop. And I was like, and my daughter was like 3 at the time, so it was on a Sunday. So I threw her in the car and I said, come with Daddy, we're going to go find a shop. And we drove all around and I found this shop, and I just said, do I really want to jump in and get this?
Is it the same place you're at now?
No.
Oh, okay.
We were on Pelora behind the Circle K, that little complex right there. But it was a really good deal. It was 1,400 square feet and everything. So I rented it, and I thought, I'm making enough at the phone company. Worst case scenario, it'll pay the rent if the business, you know. And I had an employee and stuff, and it was the first person I had hired, and he was working with me, and we moved in there. And then they let me move my office to the Marysville, from the phone company, let me move my office to the Marysville location. And but I was just like, I'm in this like solid room upstairs. There's no windows. There's a window in the door and stuff. And I'm just like going. So I had a phone installed at my shop that my office phone would ring at the shop. So if that phone rang, it was like, Alan, don't answer it. This is SBC. This is Keith. You know.
Yeah.
And I was a project manager, so I could do my job from anywhere. So I did that. And then in 2005, there was the merger between SBC and AT&T. And when that was happening, they started outsourcing. Well, before that happened, they were outsourcing a lot of jobs. And of course, I never thought my job would get outsourced because of what I did specifically. I never thought after September 11th, they're never going to let my job be out of the country. But I was wrong.
Yeah.
And they, so at the end of 2005, I had the sign business. But at the end of 2005 is when it became my sole source of income, you know, and my employee was making more from the business than I was. So, but I had to get out and hustle, and I did that. And I was really proud of all the signs we had done, because we really weren't doing T-shirts. We were doing some vinyl stuff, but not really a lot of T-shirts. And then I was doing a home show in the mall, and my dad came up, goes, how's it going? And my dad was a truck driver as well. And he goes, yeah, I want to retire. I want to do something. And I go, hey, I was thinking about buying this other screen printing business here in town, but you know, that kind of fell through. Maybe we should just start our own. And I go, I have stipulations. So funny, my sister, she was working at a clothing store, managing a clothing store in the mall, and we just talked. And I took them back to see my cousin in Oklahoma, because he'd got this real successful business. And I showed him, this is what you have to do. This is what I don't want to do, because I didn't like it the first time I did this. And so we started it. And so in April of 2006 is when we started the screen printing for the T-shirts and stuff like that. And then we just kind of went from there. And my dad kind of left the business in 2009. And then my sister left in 2018, and I just was all mine. And we went
all by yourself.
We went through like initially 3 name changes, because we started as Precision One Graphics. When my dad left, we rebranded to Precision One Screen Printing and Embroidery, because it kind of said a little bit more about what we do. I still had Trick Concepts as a separate business. It was my business by itself for the signs. And then when my sister left in 2018, I changed it to Precision One Apparel, because it was just, I wanted it to be something different for me. And I kept Precision One because that was what everybody knew us for.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years ago, especially after COVID, I went through dealing with 2 different businesses, you know, and stuff like that. And I had 7 employees, and I was down to 3 after COVID. And so I just said, we're going to make it one company. So we made it Precision One Concepts Apparel and Signs. And I kept the concepts, because I didn't want to give up Trick Concepts, because technically that was my baby. It was the first company I started and stuff. But and so that's kind of how we got to where we're at today. But yeah, that's kind of the quick history of how the name changes and stuff like that. But we're still, and I kept it Precision One Concepts because the sign company had a lot, you know, it did super well, but it wasn't like, we might do a sign for a business and never do anything else for them ever again. Where T-shirts, if you're a club or a school or a business and you might be ordering 2 or 3 times a year, so Precision One's customer base had more people. So if I would have just changed it to Trick Concepts, everybody would have said, where did Precision One go? I just kind of think there would have been that fall
smart.
off. Plus it was a family business, started that way, and even though my dad and sister, they're all in Georgia now, it's still, I still
Man, they
attribute it to
didn't
them.
just leave the business; they left the state.
Yeah. Well, when my sister Lisa left the company, her husband worked for Cisco Foods, and he got a big promotion, and they moved to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And then he got another promotion. They moved back to San Francisco, and then he got another promotion, and they moved to Georgia. And then my youngest sister ended up moving back to Georgia, and they brought my dad. And my dad had beginning stages of dementia, and so my sister says, "I'm going to bring Dad and take care." She has her and her husband by themselves. All their kids are grown, and they have this 6-bedroom, 5,000 square foot house.
Yeah.
And they brought my dad.
But they pay $100 a month for
Yeah,
it, right? It's like, and people say, "What's the incentive?" Well, if I could sell my house here. I get offers all the time. I'm sure you do. People always want to buy my house, right?
Yeah.
And it's like my house payment is $700 a month. So if I sell my house, Keith, where am I going to live for $700 a month? Oh, I'll move back east and buy a ranch for $700. What I mean? It's like, it's just a different thing.
It is.
But so how did you end up, we want to talk about not just congratulations on 25 years, but you make the apparel for the merch shop for the Freebirds.
I do. So last year, when I did a lot of work for them last year as a High Wheelers, and Rachel was great and stuff like that. And then she sent me a message going, "Hey, I'm leaving," and and stuff. And I was sad, And she goes, "But," and I didn't realize this because Celeste was with the chamber, and being chamber ambassador, but I didn't know that that's where she was coming. Well, Celeste is going to take over, so. Me and Celeste talked, and I told her this is what me and Rachel had talked about for this year being my 25 year. I really kind of want to do more this year. And so we just partnered with them and came up with some good ideas. Celeste brought Harrison and Jackson and Eric all over one day to the shop, and we just had a big meeting. I showed them what I could do, what all my equipment is. I'm capable of doing this, and and it just kind of started from there. They were the presenting sponsor at the Chamber Gala in beginning of February, and they gave away 450 shirts at that event. So I printed those for them right off the bat, and then we've just been doing a ton of stuff. And anybody that's been waiting for tank tops, they're being printed right now this morning. And I'll have them out there, even though it won't be a tank top night probably.
No, it's gonna.
But next week when it's 100 degrees,
then you'll want it, right?
But
they got great merch over there, though. I passed through there. Of course, I don't even wear 93Q gear because I think men only need 2 shirts.
Yeah.
In the winter, it's flannel. In the summer, it's floral. Flannel and floral, gentlemen, you're good. So I keep telling them, when are you going to come up with a Freebirds shirt that's a Hawaiian print?
Yeah.
And they keep saying, "Oh, the colors would be great for that."
You're right, because their colors.
They'd be perfect.
Their colors are hard to find as far as because it's just, how many teal color shirts can you do, or how many black. But I've played around I've had the freedom to get to play around with the designs, and they'll send it to me in this color. We want to do this on a gray shirt. Well, you've already done a bunch of gray shirts. Let's change it up and put on a different color shirt. So I've kind of done that, and there was a couple of girls that wanted sweatshirts before it got cold this last week, and I told them, I'll get you some. Well, then all of a sudden when we saw the weather, and I was like. And then it was, Memorial Day, and I go,
"Get the hoodies."
I can't even order on Monday to get them here for Tuesday because I could print them in one day if I could get them there. So I only had maybe a dozen in the shop, and I just did something and brought them out and gave it to the 2 girls. I was their best friend, so they really loved it.
There's 3 of us up in the press box. Todd Cunin, who has been announcing baseball at Bryan Field this is his 10th year.
Oh, wow.
And great play-by-play announcer, and then I do color and switch off, and then Aiden operates the board and that. So we're up there, and when you close the doors, if you turn that air conditioner on, I'm telling you, we need sweatshirts if it's 104 outside. And so this weather's been so weird because you turn on the air because it's warm, and then you turn it off because it's just, it's been very, very strange. But yeah, I could see where merchandise-wise, people are like, I'm not really thinking tank top. At 57 degrees, I'm still thinking hoodie. So yeah, that's got to be it. That's strange, right?
It's fun.
So we talk about promotional items for business. Mm-hmm. It's a common thing. Every business looks for promotional items. What can I do so that people know who I am? And I look all the time at ads that come by, right? You'll see them, and I'll think, would 93Q do that? Is that really something? So originally, we had all these different color shirts and everything, and we gave away, I gave away thousands of dollars worth of shirts and hats, and we kind of ended up settling on just black and white. So I thought, okay, we did that. Well, I'm out at the Freebirds, and you guys created just a simple black and white T-shirt.
Yeah, that was the ones that we did for the gala.
Those are great shirts. Yeah. And you think about, okay, well, it's simple, but sometimes simple's good.
Exactly.
It really is. I mean, that was a great shirt. I think they still give them away.
Yeah.
For during the T-shirt thing. But
it is really crazy because, especially in today's, because with AI and stuff, and people become their own graphic artists and stuff like that. So they'll bring stuff in, and it's just like crazy busy and stuff like that. And I go, I can print that on a shirt, but I got to be standing a foot from you to see what it is. And if you're trying to promote your business, you need to clean it up, make it simple. Same thing with crazy fonts. People come in, look at this font, it looks really nice. And I go, yeah, but can you read it 10 feet away?
I saw a truck, or like an SUV. It passed me on the right, and it was white and had white lettering, big white lettering across the back window. Mm-hmm. And I bet they thought it was great because they knew what it said. But the font was so terrible, I could not tell you. It wasn't an eyesight problem.
Yeah.
It was a terrible font. And, so you're right. And I don't think that, it's like people see something and they go, I really like that. But you know the name of your business. You don't make those things for you.
Yeah.
You make them so that your clientele can see it, or people that aren't yet your clientele.
Yeah.
And so, I could see that. But
so, and here's the ironic thing, me knowing about all of that stuff. So, Dennis is doing all the signs. Dennis Houck's doing all the signs.
Great guy.
Yeah, and me and him, I refer business to him all the time, and he'll send people to me and stuff. And so I sent him my sign. The signs out in the outfield are 8 foot by 16 foot. So I looked at this, my 25-year logo is gigantic on there. But off to the side, I just had, T-shirts, apparel, hats and signs and banners, whatever. And then when I'm up in the stands and I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, I know what it says. I can't read it because it's too far from my eyes. But I'm going, that's got to change. So I'm actually going to redo my sign out there a little bit. And I should have known better because, I knew that, if it's an 8-inch tall letter, that's usually visible from 200 feet away. The signs are, 300 plus out there. But so I would tell anybody, if you're putting something out there, like Blue Zones has theirs, it's nice. It's big just across the middle, And
well, I told Dennis because he wrapped my van. Mm-hmm. So Dennis is looking at it, and I happened to mention to him, because we're called 93Q, people think we're 93 on the FM dial, but we're 93.3. So Dennis took the tail of the Q and put 93.3 FM in it. Yeah. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
And so we had that. So they're just making our banner for out there in the field. And that's all it's going to have is the big yellow logo with 93Q on it, because you can't see stuff at that distance.
Right.
I've been coming in the morning. I always come the same way. And there's some buildings behind us that they're on D Street, so they wanted people to see their signs. So they put 3 great big signs up there. But you can't read them. There's too much stuff on them.
Yeah.
And they're huge, right? So, I could see where. So people come in, you have to say to them, okay, however.
Yeah, I would get that with doing Little League signs. Little League fences are they're only 200 feet, but people would put a book on their sign, and I go, there was a banker one time, mortgage person, and he wanted just
everything.
And I
they
go,
did.
you're not gonna, you need to put who you are, a big phone number, maybe whatever,
That's it.
and that's it. But so it's kind of hard, and and here's it's not really a secret, but here's something that business owners should think in general. If you drive around a lot and you want your, like if you want to get your car wrapped, wraps are the best. However, if you have something on the side of your vehicle and you drive by, even right, if you were looking out, somebody's driving down 3rd Street right here, 4th Street, you go, okay, I saw it, but I maybe got the beginning of the name. You have like less than 15 seconds to read it.
That's why Dennis just put these huge yellow and red on that blue van that they said, oh, let's do blue. Oh, my gosh, that van sticks out.
Yep.
But it's easy. 93Q, community radio. I mean, there was nothing to it. I think you're right. Can you make it simple?
Well, you put your logos and stuff on your doors, because I get a lot of construction companies, they come in and they want that, but they're driving around all the time. And I was like, if you have a back window that's viewable or a tailgate, it's your best place to advertise, because people follow you through town. They're at a red light. They got all day to read it. Even if they're driving and they're following you, they have all day to read it. But when they're driving by, now, if you're a landscaper and you're parked at somebody's house, your name on the side of your trailer, that's all good. But if you can put stuff on the back, even the back of a trailer.
Do you make the magnetic signs?
I do make magnetic signs.
Yeah. Do people use those much anymore? I know the idea was that we had some for a car I had, and our van, but they really got it was a lot, because you're taking them on and off, and if you don't,
and you got to be careful, because you got to clean them really well.
Yeah.
You got to make sure your car's clean, because the air will get off, they'll blow off. But you know what? In all my years, I've had 3 customers come in and said that they lost a magnet, and it was their fault. Like, one of them put it over the molding on the car. It's like, the air is going to get out,
Yeah.
So I understand why they just don't want to. They use it for personal use as well, so they don't want their name on there and stuff like that. So it's a good temporary sign. I don't do nothing like I used to do, but we've done a lot of signs. I mean, back in 2011, I think it was 2011, I actually got my contractor's license to do electrical signs, because I started doing everything. Because when Ampla Health used to be Del Norte Clinic.
Yeah.
And when Ampla Health so they needed all their signs changed. So I was 6 different counties and stuff like that, but I didn't have, there was a lot of new electrical signs, and I go, I have to get my contractor's license. So I went and did that, and then that went on, and it was like kind of I always say those are kind of once in a lifetime jobs when they're that big, for a small company like we were. And I'm just like going, okay. And then SunSuite had their 100-year anniversary, so that was a job. It felt like I worked for SunSuite for a year and a half straight, because I did everything on their building, the giant 100-year signs you see on the back. We did all of that kind of stuff. So those were fun. Those were the fun jobs. But after COVID hit, I just haven't. I lost like my good sign employees, so I'm not doing as much signage. Look, I'm not going out, and I could bid on certain jobs, but I'm the only one that can do it. And I'm getting old. I don't want to be on the ladder on the side of a building.
One of the gentlemen that did engineering for me said, Fish, you need to put one of those electric signs that change every 10, 15 seconds on the side of the heart, because they're coming over E Street either way. So, man, people would buy advertisement on that because, and he said, I don't think those signs are that expensive. Well, my thought is they would be, because it's going to have to be big. It can't just be some little sign hanging out there. It has to be, wide, and then you have to have the controls to change what's on there and blah, blah, blah. I have enough going on. We just put up local TV. I have enough.
They're pretty pricey, especially when they get bigger. The bigger they are, they go up a lot. And when you go from a 4x8 to bigger, it's a lot. Plus you obviously have city ordinances, and I don't know what Marysville's are for.
Well,
those
I never
signs,
checked, but I'm sure it's a historic building, and you want to hang an electric sign off the side.
Yeah. So that would be, it wouldn't be technically historic, but
so I'll just get those little neon ones and stick them in my windows, right?
But I mean, it would be great advertisement. I was really in Placer County in Rockland, because you have if you drive into Rockland, you'll see these there's 2 giant ones, one on each side of everything. I was in with their city council, everything. I didn't I made just for consultation fees, which I should have charged a whole lot more. I made a couple $1,000s, but those were $1 million signs that went up.
Yeah.
But I'm the one who helped present it to the city, and for them to approve those signs to go up. And those signs pay for themselves in the first year.
That's what this gentleman was telling me. He said, if you put that up, people will buy time on that sign because they're coming up over the bridge, or either way, because this Highway 70 East Street the traffic is constant. And if you have it big enough, then it's just how many seconds does it run?
Yeah.
Right? Because it doesn't need to be a long time. And I never thought about that, before he mentioned that. And I never went to the city because, like I said, I got enough going on.
Yeah.
But it is a great idea because that's kind of the way things are going. Keith, if somebody came to you and they had never done T-shirts, any kind of signs, anything, they just started a new business. And they came to you. I mean, I know what I tell people, right? But what would you advise them, right? What would you tell them? These are the things that are going to help you get your message out there or get your name out there. What would you suggest?
So I think the biggest thing is obviously when they're a startup business, its finances are tough for them, right?
Yep.
So it's really rare when you have somebody that's like, they're starting a business and they're moving into a new building, and they're budgeting for everything. They got to get new flooring done. They got to get their desks, their computers, whatever they got to get in there. If there's inventory, they got to do that. The one thing they never count on is like a sign. So then they go, oh, well, look at your lease. What kind of sign are you allowed to have? Do you have to have channel letters? Because they'll go, oh, well, I'll just put a banner up or whatever. Well, what's the code? Do you know the code? You're not allowed to have a banner up. You have to pay permit for a banner even. So, there's all of those things that they don't see. And then all of a sudden they go, I got to spend $7,000 on a sign. It's like, that's the only sign that your lease says you're allowed to have.
Yeah.
And then so when they come in, I would talk to them about simplicity. If, like I said, if they have that crazy logo, it's like, well, is that going to do you any good? You want to do some shirts, but, what are you going to do? And then there's like giveaway, like promo items, like T-shirts. So I'm the opposite of what most business owners are, because I know if I do a cheap T-shirt that you might wear it once and then you're probably not going to ever wear it again.
And then you're using it to clean up a mess on the garage floor.
So being really involved with the chamber and doing, so I give away a swag bag at a ribbon cutting or business after, whatever there is, I'm giving it away, right? So I give away a really nice shirt. It's a comfy shirt. Mm-hmm. You can ask anybody who's won them, they're going, these are really nice.
Yeah.
And the reason I do that is because they're going to wear it more than once. And it's got my logo plastered all over it. That's the whole point. And it's funny to be in town, either Walmart or at a restaurant and see somebody wearing my shirt. That's really cool because they're wearing it because it's a nice shirt. They might not be wearing it because of my logo on it.
They don't really care.
Yeah, they don't care. It becomes their favorite shirt. And so if that's in your budget, you should consider that.
Yeah.
And I had a church that came to me one time and they were talking about, we really want this message and stuff. And they were on a budget. And I told them, I go, but you want people to wear that? And he goes, yeah. And I go, so his wife goes, let's just spend the $2 more shirt and see what happens. And if he was here, he would tell you to this day, that was one of the best investments. That shirt got wore to every camp for 5 years in a row.
I am not a guy that likes printed shirts. Today I got a white T-shirt on, but generally, Keith, I wear a black T-shirt. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with a black T-shirt. Well, what you're saying is true. There are different qualities of shirts. I bought cheap black T-shirts, and you know what they are? Cheap black T-shirts. so there is that, and if it's only a couple of bucks more, man, buy something. You are going to be comfortable. It's going to last a while, right? And then so I bought T-shirts for 93Q, and I was telling you it was just a black T-shirt with a white logo, and I got nice T-shirts. They're not top of the line, but they're nice, right?
Yeah.
And it's like doing that, helping a company, because I tell companies, you think everybody knows where you're at. I've had people tell me, I'm on Colusa Highway. Everybody knows that. Oh, yeah, I drive down Colusa Highway and watch and look at every business. You don't.
No.
And so it's important who you are, what you do, and where you are.
Yeah.
And if you can get those three things to people, right? And so I tell them, even if they're going to sponsor something on the radio, or now we got TV and they want to run a spot, let's do something that does that, right? That's your beginning. Get in where, because first, to me, that whole advertising thing is easy. Get it in front of people. And then keep it in front.
Yeah.
You know, it's not complicated. So if I buy a nice shirt from you, right, I'm going to get it in front of people. And if I keep wearing it, I'm going to keep it in front of people. So it qualifies for that.
It does. It literally becomes their favorite shirt and stuff. And, you know, my 25-year anniversary, you know, I have June 10th at my shop. It's customer appreciation, and it's a chamber of business after hours. They're going to MC everything for me and stuff. But it's really just for me to kind of give back. You know, I'm going to have some good food there, you know, and stuff.
Well, you know, I'm a dude. If you don't have good food, I'm not coming, Keith.
Yeah. Which shows tacos? I'll give them a plug.
Oh.
So
I love that. So when is that event?
So it's June 10th at 5:30, and then you show up, you get a coupon for 3 tacos. So last time I did this a few years ago and spent a lot of money. I'm going to probably spend more this time, but and then if you want anything after, if you want any like food from them afterwards, then you obviously got to pay for it. But everybody that comes will get that coupon and stuff. And you know, I've done so much. Last time I was here was during COVID, and we were doing this program was ran by screen printers all across the country, but it was called Here for Good because we're all here. You know, we're trying to help our community. And there's people that raised hundreds of thousands doing this. But what we did is we put up online stores and an online store, and we had like businesses on there, and they could promote it. And then so we did $20 a T-shirt. The business owner that promoted it got $10, and then I got $10. But that's covered the cost of the shirt, you know. But it kind of helped my business and their business or whatever. And we raised like $20,000. Collectively for everybody in the community. We did stuff for Say Love and So You Can and the food bank and all that, because people would say, just give my $10 to them or whatever. So it was really kind of fun and stuff.
That's really a great way to do things, though, because if I have to stock, because I quit stocking this stuff. I had so many T-shirts and hats and just different stuff, right? Well, you have to stock it in different colors, and you got to do this. And that online thing is they just go there, they order it, and then the printer makes it to order and sends it to them, and then the printer makes money, you make money. But again, it's getting your name out there.
It is, and I pivoted to do a lot of online stores. That's what I've been doing because we have Little League All-Stars starting, so I'm trying to get the fanware stores up for the parents to order from, and it's been crazy busy for that, and very blessed for that. But one thing is, a little over a year ago, when Officer Rodarty passed away, I got called from one of the Little Leagues that was doing a fundraiser for them, and they go, "You think you could do some shirts for Marysville Police Department by next Saturday?" I go, "Yeah, easily, right?" And then I said, "Hey," I go, you know, ask Chief Sachs if he would want to do an online store, because I go, we did that for a CHP officer who was run over a few years earlier. And I go, we raised like $3,000 for him, you know, so maybe we could do something. It's like, okay, was not prepared. That store went viral.
Yeah.
I gave the family $25,000 check.
Yeah.
You know, so I was super proud of that. I was more proud for my team just because it was an honor to do it. I wish we would not have had to done it, obviously. You know, we didn't make any money on that. We gave everything after, you know, payroll and PG&E and everything that had, because we worked a lot of hours doing all that. But we shipped shirts to just about every state, except maybe Hawaii and Alaska were the only two, but
those are coming.
You know, yeah. But we literally, I was like, oh, here's Tennessee, here's New York, here's North Dakota. You know, it's like, I've never shipped anything to North Dakota. So, I mean, law enforcement had spread like crazy. And, you know, that we started it that Saturday. That next Sunday, I remember coming over to Habitat, and they were doing the event there. And I walked up to Chief Sachs and I go, this store's going crazy. He goes, what do you mean? I go, we're at about 8 or 9,000 in sales already, and it's been like 12 hours. It went nuts. And
I think that we're, the mainstream media would try to get us to believe that law enforcement is totally corrupt, right?
Yeah.
It's what they do, right? We don't believe that in our community.
no.
We are grateful for our law enforcement. And I've had every agency on here, and they all say the same thing. Yeah. People in this area are kind to law enforcement. We appreciate them. And so you would think, well, then I would not be surprised if in that shooting of that officer that people would get behind it. But listen, every state, I'm telling you, people love law enforcement more, and I hope law enforcement personnel recognize that. For all the things that mainstream media would say, your local community loves you, and they're appreciative of what you do. And I think, unfortunately, here an officer gets killed in the line of duty, right? It takes that for people to realize it, but I hope the officers realize it wasn't just that. Yeah. They appreciate local law enforcement, and they will. It's why we got Back the Badge, and people support that because we want to support not just the officer, but their family and all the things that are involved in that. So that had to be thrilling for you, even though all of a sudden it was nuts.
I had to pause jobs even, and I would let my customers know, hey, we're in the middle of doing this. Can we put it out a week or whatever? And they were all so understanding and stuff like that. And but my team stepped it up. I mean, my son and his girlfriend actually came over and helped after hours. But we did not expect it. I'm more prepared for it today in case it ever happens. I mean, if I ever get an online store that goes viral, I kind of got steps in place. But yeah, I'm super proud of my team and everything. They've worked hard, but it is about, for me at this point, it's about trying to give back to my customers. Yeah. They've supported me for 25 years. I can throw them a party, I guess.
Understood. Well, listen, we ran way long.
I'm sorry.
No, you didn't do it. This is the thing. I love being able to bring people on and let the community know them. And I try to explain that I don't care if you're running for office, you have a business, you can put all the business information out there you want, but you make a difference when they know who you are. Yeah. And that's my goal with community radio, is to help the community know each other, to help us. We're already bonded by emergencies and things that we've helped each other with. But I believe that it goes deeper than that. We have great people. Who knew you were a Blazer forever? Who knew that? I'm going to get calls from them now. Oh, that's who he is. Yeah. And then, I just think that's why I'm so excited about local baseball. I'm glad that we get to announce those games, fireworks tonight. But I'm grateful for all the businesses. We sit up there in the booth, and whenever somebody hits a long ball, we're like, that went out by the Holy Cross sign, right?
Exactly.
And everybody that's been there knows, oh, that's what that was. And so I'm just very encouraged by that. I appreciate the owners group, but I appreciate all the businesses, yourself included, that got involved. I didn't know you made the merch.
Yeah.
I do now.
Yep.
I might get a discount on a hat.
Yeah, you might.
All right, Keith, thanks so much for being on. One last thing, what's the best way to find out what all Precision does?
So we have a website.
Okay, there you go.
That's Precision One Concepts, and Concepts is spelled with a K, K-O-N-C-E-P.
Oh.
So it's precision1concepts.com. We're on social media, Instagram, Facebook. If you go to, I think on Instagram, it's Precision One Apparel still and everything. And believe it or not, I'm on TikTok. So
I haven't done that one. I'm like,
it's a long story, but I'll tell you off air. But that was during COVID when I got on there, and real quick, I met a business marketer for it, and she had a course, and I paid $700 to take her course, but I went from 3 followers to 13,000 in a year.
Yeah. So if you know what you're doing and you stay on it.
Taught me a lot, and it worked out. So.
All right, Keith, thanks so much for being on.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
This community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw and Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw and Associates